Okay, so here's the tea. I've been in my rich girl era since I graduated college. And spoiler alert, it actually has no correlation to the amount of money in my bank account. I graduated college with a fat student loan from one of the most expensive universities in the world. I then got a 6-figure salary in big tech and then quit my job and now currently make no income, no money. And my life is literally more glamorous, more luxurious, and more authentic to what I want to do every single day, even though I now make less money than I ever have before. And the secret is, it's because it's all about mindset. That's what the rich girls don't tell you. They don't tell you that their lifestyle and their environment and everything around them is supported by the mindset that they're in and has nothing to do with how much money that they have. So that's kind of what I want to spill here today. Today I'm going to talk about actual actionable habits you can create in your life to manufacture the right mindset for you to actually have your reality be the same as a rich girl. So we're going to literally talk about the things you can do tomorrow to start entering your rich girl era. And warning, a lot of it is pretty ridiculous, so take the parts that work for you. You definitely do not have to do it all. Really use this as inspiration, but I will promise you upfront right now, every single thing that I'm going to tell you to do has nothing to do with how much money you grew up in and is not hard. It's all incredibly simple things you can start tomorrow. Let's speed through them. So number one, I took out all the money in my bank account when I quit my job and I put it in a certificate of deposit, which is basically this high yield savings account that you cannot touch and access money for a certain amount of time. That could be 6 months, that could be a year, that could be several years, because there is no better way to pressure yourself into making money than having none at all. Let me tell you, that got me off my ass so fast and that got me thinking so creative and started hustling so hard. I literally felt survival instincts come in. And I made my first 20 grand within literally a month of quitting. So that it already tells you in itself is that when we set our mind to something, when we really feel the urgency of making money, we will find a way to do that. Okay, number two, and this one's gonna be a little crazy, but I actually stopped going to the gym entirely. And this is kind of what worked for me. I hated the gym. I would spend hours before the gym and the night before dreading going there. When I would go there, I would consume myself with the fact that I did not want to be there. And I would bring that negative energy with me throughout the day when I would be tired and feel like I had those hours taken away from me. I'm a super active girl, so for me, going to the gym was not because I wasn't getting activity. It was just this mindset I had that, in order to be healthy and productive, you have to go to the gym. Everyone says going to the gym is healthy. But actually, I realized that the way that I want to be active is personal and it's different. I like to go on walks. I like to swim. I like to play sports. I like to run around. I didn't like this constraint of a gym. So now what I do is I actually go on daily 1 to 2 hour walks. I will swim and do yoga several times a week, and I will often plan activities with my friends that are very physically active. I found that in that process, I was actually more active, more fit than ever before. And obviously being physically fit is how you keep your mind fit. But I was finding that I was doing things that recharged me, that brought me joy. So then I was actually sitting on my laptop and getting shit done. I was putting my best effort and I was coming onto that project or whatever I was working on with this renewed creativity, because whether I was going on my walk or I was swimming, I was doing things that actually worked for me and how my brain worked. So a lot of the creative ideas that I came up with was actually during my walks and during my swims, which is ironic because when I was at the gym, I almost felt like my creativity was stunted and I was more negative than ever before. So I think the learning and the lesson here is don't go to the gym just because everyone tells you to go to the gym. Go to the gym because that's actually a place where you recharge. And if it's not the gym, find the thing that does make you recharge. Number 3, my phone is literally always on Do Not Disturb. You will not find my phone off Do Not Disturb. And there's a really good reason for that. By putting your phone on and not on Do Not Disturb, you're making your phone run your life. When you get a text, it distracts you. You feel like you have to respond. When someone calls you, they're calling you on their time. It's not your time. Even if you choose to ignore it, your subconscious is still seeing it, and that's still stealing time, and it's stealing your potential. Literally, microseconds of doing that can add up to literally lost hours during the day. And if anything, it's almost your entire day doesn't matter anymore at that point, because even if you were only distracted, let's say every 30 minutes, you basically are still like, your brain is like subconsciously thinking about the text you got, the phone call you received, the notification you got. And so by putting my phone on do not disturb, I literally operate my life for me. When I'm doing an activity, I'm focused and I'm going to get a lot more done out of that 1 hour spending time on it than if I were to like let other people in my life DDoS my brain and DDoS my time. Because why should they not send me a text, or why should they not send me a notification just because I am working? That's on me to turn off distractions and to focus. That's literally that simple. And then you're going to find your life working for you rather than the other way around. This fourth one is kind of also a little bit controversial, but I eat out to my heart's desire. Like, I never budget when it comes to food. If I want to splurge on $200 groceries because I want to get the like wild caught salmon and I want to get the organic veggies, like I do that. If I feel like going out and eating 3 times a week, I do that. 2 reasons. One, I mean, health is priceless. Like, being healthy is obviously like incredibly important. Restaurants are not healthy though. So you're probably wondering like, why do you go out, eat out in restaurants so much? It also wastes a ton of money. For me, the most valuable currency is time. And a lot of the times what restaurants do is, one, like I don't have to like make a meal. So obviously that saves a ton of time for me having to make a meal, but it's a great thing that like duels for socialization. So the ultimate form of habit stacking for me is hanging out with my friends or doing business meetings over a meal. And that has to happen at a restaurant. So at the end of the day, like I'm actually getting both things done. And yes, you could say that I'm spending more money, but actually by habit stacking, I'm saving time. I'm getting more work done. And in some ways I'm recharging because a lot of that time is just social time with my friends. I never say no to restaurants and I will often overdo it, but I know that in the long run, this is actually helping me really move into my abundance mindset, my rich girl era of like making sure that I'm not restricting myself. That's like one of the biggest things I feel like, even beyond like this idea of like an abundance mindset, where if I'm constantly restricting myself, like don't go to that restaurant, like you should be healthy today, you should stay in, you should cook, whatever. But if I'm not in the mood to cook and I actually want to go to that restaurant, like I'm actually creating this like system in my head of like, no, you don't deserve to go to that restaurant. And all of a sudden I have scarcity mindset over restaurants. So that's why I say like, I'm not saying that you should just like eat out at restaurants every day, but I think the key thing here is like, eat what you want at your own desire. And the way that our body's like basically built is at some point, if you, let's say you eat fried chicken every day because that's your heart's desire, at some point your body's going to reject it. It's going to be like, I just really want an orange. Like, I just want some fruits. Like, I don't want fried chicken anymore. Like, I found that by just like listening to my body, I was choosing healthier options more often because I lost that scarcity mindset about food. And I lost that scarcity mindset around my time and doing things for the sake of like, I should be doing it versus what I want to do. Okay, the next one. I don't have a lease to an apartment. Yeah, that's literally, I don't own anything. I don't rent anything. And this has been the biggest life hack for me. I've ironically stayed in better apartments in cooler cities and I've maxed out my opportunities because I don't feel financially obligated to a singular location or a singular space. And the reality of the situation is because I'm hopping around so much, I am choosing the best places because nothing is a permanent. I don't have to think too hard about it. So I'm often spending my time rotating between SF, New York, and LA because those are, in my opinion, the best cities in US and also have the most opportunities for building like relationships with other people in business, networking, making new friends who I'm going to learn from and then be a better version of myself. But on top of that, there are several months out of the year where I will go travel or I will literally go home to my parents' house because I have the flexibility to do that. I don't owe my time to a specific apartment. And on top of that, this summer, I'm probably going to stay in this really bougie apartment in New York for the whole summer. I probably could not afford that apartment throughout the year, but because I'm staying at it just for a few months, I can afford that. And then the rest of my time, the rest of the year, I may be traveling more or I'm in SF where rent is a lot cheaper and I'm still kind of upholding this life of I get to do what I want and I get to stay where I want and I'm continuously putting myself in the best opportunities for not just my career professionally, but also where I'm going to have the most fun and be the most authentic. So one thing that I would truly push is have an apartment. Obviously, if you need to go to work every day or maybe you have dependents. So this is not advice that everyone can take. But if you're just a girl in your 20s and you don't have dependents or you don't have the necessity of being in one place because of work or something like that, I would really encourage you to reframe how you think about living and try to stretch beyond these societal norms of like, you have to live in one place and you have to get one apartment. Okay, another thing that's really, really important. I do not have a to-do list. I never make a to-do list. I find that by having a to-do list full of tasks, I end up spending my days in the wrong way. Instead, what I do is I have a goals list. So every morning, I will look at this list. Okay, what is my goal today? And I'll only ever have one, max 2 goals. And then what I'll do is I will spend the day doing a bunch of activities to hopefully reach my goal at the end of the day. So for today, my goal was to film this video. It was my one goal. So it required a lot of things to prep. I would have to like think about topics I want to talk about. I would have to go to the studio and like set up the mics and the camera. I would have to like do the warm up and the prep to like move into the episode. And then after, I would have to like reflect and edit and maybe think about the episode, how I want to like actually produce it. So those are like my tasks, but I don't write down my tasks the day before. I just write down my goal and then I go and do what I need to do to get that goal. This is like very much of a simple example, but the reason why I want to say like don't write down your tasks is like you're going to get a lot of random things from the universe. Oh, send that thing to this person. Oh, maybe I should go like fill out that form, fill out that application, blah, blah, blah. At the end of the day, like none of these things are going to amount to something super tangible because you're going to just kind of like randomly move every single day rather than moving linearly towards this one goal. What I will actually do, and this is the next thing that I want to talk about, is I do not go to bed before writing my goals for the next day. You don't want to wake up in the morning with like out that intention set up in front of you. You're going to feel stalled in the morning. You're going to wake up and be like, okay, what do I do today? And then you're going to feel like you're starting your day off not productive. So instead, try to write your goals down the night before. Sometimes I will literally write down my goal for tomorrow is to hang out with my friends and like feel excited and refreshed and recharged for the week. That is for sure a goal. Like that is a goal. Like that counts. But even if it's something like that, I always write it down and it helps me live my life very intentionally. And I'm more likely to achieve my goals this way. I can look back on my year and I can be like, okay, like I had these 3 goals and I actually hit them. I don't ever look back on my year and I say, okay, I had these 3 goals. I felt so busy this year, but I somehow didn't get the things that I wanted that I was running towards. Well, that makes sense because every single day you weren't doing the number one thing that moves your needle to those goals you wanted. And so the best way to keep yourself accountable is every single night reassess what's my number one goal, and then tomorrow go work on the things that helps you with that number one goal. Okay. This one I think you girlies have heard before, but I will wake up every single morning and I will send 2 cold DMs. It literally doesn't take me more than 5 minutes, but what this does is I am only going to send a cold message to someone I think is insanely legit or someone I super respect or someone way out of my league or way out of my network, right? Hence the cold message. So the likelihood of that person being able to change the trajectory of my career and trajectory of my life is really, really high, right? That we can't disagree on. If this person is someone that I deeply respect or like is someone that is like genuinely out of my league. The reason why people don't send cold messages is because they think they never hear back. The only reason why you never hear back is because you're not sending enough. There is literally a mathematical law that states that if you do something enough times, at some point you will get a response back. At some point it will work. So think of like coin flips, right? If I flip a coin, 50% chance I get heads, right? But if I keep flipping that coin, at some point we're going to get heads. Like it's almost guaranteed. Maybe it's not in the first 5, maybe it takes 10 to get the first head, right? Like, but at some point we're going to guarantee it. Like it just takes one person to open up a door, to create a new opportunity for you, to invite you somewhere for your entire life to change. So yeah, I'm going to spend 5 minutes every day, like throwing like a dart into this ocean and seeing hopefully maybe one day one will stick, because the possibility of my life changing overnight is literally inevitable if I do it that often. And yes, all these things I mentioned did definitely change my life. Okay. This one I really think is like really, really important, but I post on social media once a day, no excuses. Like I know I'm running like a media company, and so obviously like a lot of my work is on social media, and trust me, I post more than once a day. Like I post like 10 times a day, honestly, but I'm talking about just normal people who are not running media companies. Like just post once a day on social media. It's really important for you to start to build your brand and to put yourself out there. The more you're out there, it's a similar way of like increasing the surface area of luck. You're making sure that other people are thinking about you. No one is thinking about you until you remind them of yourself. And we live in an internet native world now. We live on a digital world. No one's going to think about you unless you're online. So post something. It can be so silly. It can literally just be your coffee in the morning. You just want to exist to other people outside of like the person who's directly in front of you talking to you right now. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is how I actually sold all my clothes and literally all my shoes. I have 3 pairs of shoes. I have my white Air Force Ones from Nike. I have my black Doc Martens if they rain or from the snow. And then I have like these pair of like shiny nude platform heels. Like they can literally go with every outfit. Like they literally go with like a colorful outfit or a black outfit or a white outfit. Like they're like that perfect color, and they're like these like platforms, so they're super comfy, so they're like versatile, and they're like kind of like this like really beautiful classy gold shimmer on it, so I could like wear it to a wedding just as much as I could wear it to just like a simple conference event, because they're not like crazy heels or anything. So I literally have these 3 shoes, and then all my clothes, I have like a capsule wardrobe, so I have a lot of like these like really sleek like basics, and I have like really beautiful like one leather jacket, like one blazer. I have 3 pairs of like they're the exact same pants, and they're just like black, white, gray, like that's it. And I have like really beautiful belts and like earrings that I feel like are very classic and they can go with everything. So that has been like a huge major hack for me. Plus, when I wake up in the morning, there are not that many options for me to wear. So I save a lot of time thinking about what I have to wear, because I'm like, well, there's like 3 options for this specific thing that I'm going to. And a lot of that like mental tax of like, what do I wear today? And like, do I look good? Is stripped away because I like don't have that much. And on top of that, because I have such limited space, I find myself spending like more money on a piece of item because I want it to be high quality and I want it to last because I'm gonna wear it a lot. And at the end of the day, like I am not spending any money on like fast fashion and a lot of these clothes that we at the end of the day end up wasting a lot of money on, because we'll wear it once and we'll realize that it wasn't that high quality and wasn't that good anyways, and we like shove it to the back of our closet and we never look at it again. This like minimalism has helped me be so much more like rigid and constrained on what I can wear, and in the process I've ended up saving like thousands of dollars because I'm like very focused on buying very high quality things that are like very much versatile across so many outfits. And then ironically what happens is when I'm like over it or I want to upgrade something, because I invested in something high quality, like basic, that like literally any girl would love because it looks so versatile and good with everything, I can sell it pretty easily and like basically get my money back. So I'm like in some ways like almost like wearing clothes for free, because I'm constantly recycling, repurposing, and selling these high quality items to get money back and then like upgrade from there. Moving on. The next one is I do this like wild thing. I go on a week-long hibernation every quarter. So like, what does that mean? What does hibernation mean? I literally don't talk to anyone, not on the internet, not in real life. I literally shut myself down. And this is, I think, arguably one of the hardest things on my list, because I'm a huge extrovert. I'm literally like such a chatterbox. Like I want to talk to everyone. I want to hang out all the time. Give me like 5 parties to go to. Like I'm there every single one. Like I'm a huge extrovert. So for me to like box myself up like this is really, really, really challenging. But it's so, so, so important because 1, it like crazy recharges me. So when I'm moving into the next quarter, I have so much stamina, so much energy to go to so many events, to put out so much content on the internet, to work, to do like so many meetings and network with so many people and get so much done, because I have literally spent an entire week literally like charging my battery. It forces me to be alone with my thoughts and kind of traps me with myself to confront my biggest fears and also to tackle my hardest problems. Because I'm alone and because I'm not spending my time on the internet or like with people IRL, I kind of like am very much ruminating on these things like accidentally almost, and it kind of forces me to like really think about them. And then what happens is after this week, I come up with like crazy realizations of how I can actually 10x improve my life from there. That directly translates into like better relationships with people, more opportunities sent my way, and like just better business outcomes for my company. And I'm more likely to reach my goals faster because I've spent that time critically reflecting and analyzing how was my last quarter, let me search within, what do I authentically need right now to get to the next stage. The other thing, and this is like something that like literally scientifically proven, like it's very Huberman vibes, was I make sure to get my 10 minutes of sunlight every morning. So I refuse to even rent Airbnb, sublease, nothing. I will not stay in an apartment without a window by my bedroom. And I will literally keep the blinds like open. I don't care. Like if I want to change my clothes, I go to the bathroom and I change my clothes. Like I don't change my room. I don't want the like burden of having to remember to open the blinds in the morning. I want to like wake up to the sunlight and like have sunlight on my face. And I'm not going to go into the extensive science behind why this is like so transforming for your body, for your brain. But Huberman has many podcasts about this and like why that's so important. So ever since I started doing that, I have crazy amounts of energy every single day. I literally feel this like clarity and focus in everything that I do. And I feel just generally happier. I don't know what something about the sun like literally invokes joy and happiness, like electrocuting my body. And then I start my day very positive, very energized, and that sets a tone for everything else. So for me, that's like one of my most important things. I make sure like even in all this inconsistency of like where I'm sleeping and what I'm doing all year, because I live a little bit of a crazy life, that I have optimized for sunlight. And in a very, very, very unique situation where this is not available to me, like I will literally leave my room in my PJs without even brushing my teeth to go outside. Doesn't happen very often, but if it does, like you bet I'm doing that. On the topic of like wellness, the other thing that I started doing is I started adding in 3 skincare products that I literally would die without. Like if I don't have this, if I forget this, I will literally go to CVS and buy it. Like it's so important for me. I never skip a day. Retinol at night, vitamin C, and sunscreen in the morning. And that has like 10x'd my skin. And the reason why I'm saying this is so important because not just like makes you look so beautiful and young, and also is like obviously slows down aging, but the main thing is that like we live in a society, in a world where like there is such thing as pretty privilege, and people with clear skin, with less wrinkles, who look more youthful are given preferences. Let's not ignore the fact that this is actually really how our society works. So simply by doing this, you look more vibrant, you look more youthful, you look more awake. Like you're gonna find like so much in your life, so much favoritism towards you, because you're just gonna look like more well rested. And what happens when you look more well rested and you look like your skin is clearer and you like look younger, you literally look richer, you look wealthier. And then people subconsciously, and society, the way it's trained is to gravitate towards people with like money and wealth and resources. Okay, this is kind of similar to like my phone thing, but I let my email work for me. I don't work for my email. And what I mean by that is like I don't check my email every day. Like somehow people just find your email and they'll email you. So you could spend literally hours every day trying to get through your emails, and like those hours are not productive because you're just responding to other people who are trying to steal your time rather than moving towards your goals and like what you want to accomplish that day. So what I do is like, and this is like learned over time, I do not respond to my emails like literally ever. And even if it's things that like I want to get back to or someone asking it from me, I still won't respond because I have to ask myself, does responding to this email add to my number one goal? If it doesn't, then I'm not going to respond to it. And if you feel like stressed by like an imploding inbox, which I used to feel stressed. Now it doesn't bother me. Now I'm like 100 emails, 200 emails. I don't care. Like me responding to emails is literally doing free labor for other people, like helping them advance their goals, their lives. Like it's not helping advance my goals, my life. I know that comes from a narcissistic, selfish place, but ultimately if you are more financially secure, if you do better for yourself, you're going to be in a better position to help other people, to create more change and impact in the world. So help yourself before you help other people. If you're helping other people before you help yourself, you're neither really going to help them nor you're going to help yourself, and you're going to be trapped in this infinite loop. So if it really bothers you, this like imploding inbox, once a week, block off an hour and say, okay, I'm going to respond to everyone in this hour. Okay. On the topic of having only one goal, I am very strict about this, is I like to have no more than one goal per season. Because what happens is when you work on several things at once, you end up being average at several things, and average rounds to zero. Like no one cares about average. The only way to be exceptional or really like hit a goal that's like meaningful for your life or really moves you forward requires a great deal of focus, attention, and hard work. And the reality situation, you have to give all of yourself for that. That means several semesters in college, I prioritize getting an internship and interview prepping over getting good grades. Is that like technically advice that people recommend against? Of course they do. But at the end of the day, I am successful today because I had great jobs. It has nothing to do with my GPA. No one ever asked me for it. No one cares about it. And on top of that, on the other hand, there have been several months in my life where I have dedicated full seasons to just family or friends. It's like a really important person to my life getting married, or like it's holiday season and I want to like really available for the family. In those moments, I'm not going to push myself to also do great work or to also be really available for my company, because what's going to happen at the end, I'm going to be a terrible CEO and I'm also going to be unavailable for the friends and family in my life. And I'm like basically operating on neither, where like my friends and family are disappointing me and also I'm disappointing myself in like reaching my goals. So instead, if I just focus on them, I can be a great friend, a great daughter, a great sister, whatever. And at least at the end, because I didn't go about trying to be a great CEO, I'm not going to be disappointed in myself. So this next one, I'm actually stealing from someone else. I totally forgot who it is. I will try to credit them at the bottom. But it's this concept of a dead man walk. A dead man walk is basically going on a walk, assuming it's your last day on the earth, assuming you're going to die tomorrow, and thinking about the things that you're grateful for, thinking about the things in your life that were awesome. And the part that's really interesting about this is like, it is really hard to be grateful on a day-to-day basis, but there are so many amazing, incredible things in our lives that we have that we don't spend time thinking about. We're always focused on what's next, what do other people have that we don't. And the reality of the situation is that spikes our cortisol, that makes us more stressed, that makes us more anxious, and that literally leads to a shorter life. If we can build some sort of exercise, it doesn't have to be daily, where we are practicing gratefulness, we are practicing positivity, we are literally filling our bodies and our minds with like happiness and joy and gratitude, not only are we going to live just way longer, but it's going to basically penetrate your interactions, the work that you do, and it's going to basically flow through the rest of your life. And you're going to find yourself every month just more grateful and more observant about these great things in your life. And that positivity that you're going to have is just going to bring more positivity in your life. The reality of your life is simply just your perception of it. If you perceive yourself as lucky and abundant and happy, you will become happy and have abundance of things, because your life is just what you convince it to be. Okay, the next one is I stopped using alarms. I fully just do not wake up with an alarm anymore. What I realized was every time the alarm was going off, I was like starting my day just like in a panic, in a frenzy. And I kind of like felt this feeling of like getting off on the wrong side of the bed. Like, I'm sure you've heard that phrase before. I was feeling that every single day. And the reality is you probably are too, but you're not even realizing that that is how you're waking up every day, because it's become your norm. You wake up every single day with an alarm. Try to not have an alarm. This is possibly going to be a luxury. What I did to train myself to wake up early just naturally is for I think a solid like 4 or 5 months, I did not schedule anything until after 11 a.m. I knew that I was not going to sleep past 11 a.m. So I made sure that I didn't have anything to do in the morning until 11 a.m. so that I didn't stress myself out that I had to wake up early. This is not something that's going to come for free. And for a lot of people, you might have obligations like going to school or going to work where like you can't just like not have anything till 11. So reasonable. Can you maybe like try to force yourself to go to bed at a ridiculously early time, like 8 p.m., 9 p.m., and kind of train your body backwards that way? So try to think about, okay, realistically the first few months, I'm going to probably oversleep, but eventually at some point my body's going to feel rested and it's going to track back and it's going to only want that 8 hours. And again, I do the thing where like I keep the blinds open. I wake up to this morning sunlight. I literally wake up at 7:30 a.m. every single day. And it's just natural body clock. And the thing is, I actually didn't even change. Like, I still don't plan anything till after 11 a.m. And then I have literally so many hours in the morning to be super creative, to go work out, to really think about what are my goals for the day and how I'm going to go about them, to get a really great, like, nourishing meal in my body, and to just feel so productive. And by the time 11 a.m. hits and I'm in a meeting or I'm starting like more of the things that involve like other people, like meetings and stuff, I'm just feeling like I was still present and available for myself that day. And it ends up, what is happening in that moment is I can then be in a more giving state the rest of the day to other people. Okay. Final last thing. This one is the most important. Like, none of this is going to matter if you don't do this one. And this is honestly the biggest secret behind the rich girls who live their best, fullest lives, and you're looking and staring at them jealously and you wish you had that. They fully detach themselves from what other people think of them. Yes, you heard it right. They don't give a shit about anyone thinks of them. And that is so, so, so incredibly important. It's just such a key ingredient to this. And I'm not sitting here and saying that I don't care what other people think of me. I for sure do. But I do think that over the past few years, I have been caring less and less. And it has caused me to literally in real time rise. This idea of like concerning yourself with how everyone perceives you really like clouds your judgment and really makes it impossible for you to be authentic. And the reality of the situation is that the most sustainable thing you can do every single day is be yourself. If you are insecure about who you are, if you feel like people are judging you, you're going to basically compromise who you are. Your actions are going to change and you're going to find yourself moving towards a more exhausted state. You're going to find yourself moving away from your goals because it is not authentic to yourself. So simply by detaching yourself from what other people think and really focusing on like what makes you you and what makes you happy and just being your full self will elicit so much more confidence and so much more success in your life. That is probably the most important thing and the most hard thing. I'm still working on it. I haven't figured it out yet, but I'm getting closer and closer to it every day. And I want you to just really intentionally focus on trying your best. Trying your best. I know you can't fully do it. To really just stop thinking about what other people think of you. And you'll be your richest self for sure every single day when you wake up. And you're going to be living in the most abundant world that was fully made for you.